Awesome. Welcome everybody to today's episode of Keeping It Real with Shane Recker. I'm super duper excited because I have one of my really good friends here with me today. Her name is Dani Reid, and she's just a sparkling light. Wait till you guys hear her. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can already see her energy just whoa, out of her. She's so amazing. So Dani is an entrepreneur. She's an entrepreneurial sister. She started actually in the corporate space, so she's going to share her story about that. She created a business as an osteopath, and she does rolfing as well, which is something that's really cool. If you haven't looked that up, please do. My husband gets sessions and he loves it. He comes back thinking he feels like a totally different person. It's awesome. So she has that business. She works with massive, world-class athletes. She just created an awesome business around that. But then she's also recently just turned her passion, which is helping and supporting women who've been through difficult times, into an online space where they can come and feel safe and talk, but it's also another business that she's created. So this girl's got some entrepreneurial bones in her body, and she's crushing it. And I can't wait for you guys to hear from Dani. So welcome, Dani.
Great girlfriend. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay. I love it. We have so much fun. We just have these little work dates that we just pick up out of nowhere. We're like, hey, what are you doing Friday? Let's get together and do some work. And then we just talk the whole time.
Jam out. Get her done.
You need these kind of people in your life, you guys. So Dani, I want to start by I want you to share your story, because I know you've had, like you said, you started in corporate, worked with Fortune 500 companies. You've moved through this entrepreneurial space. And I want you to share that with the listeners so we can get a little snapshot of who you are and how this all has come about for you.
Well, just like anyone, I feel like we're onions. We have so many layers to us, right? But in honor of this podcast, and considering we only have an hour, I'll do a Cole's Notes version. So I'll start off with kind of where I am now. Let's say if you were to look at my Instagram today, right? With these world famous athletes, UFC, NFL, NHL. I've worked with cover models, all that type of stuff. I'm off traveling. I have 3 clinics that I travel in between. And I mean, life looks pretty good, right?
Yes.
If you were to ask me 10 years ago, if I would be, presenting to universities, doing these live talks, I would have told you were fucking crazy.
Oh yeah. FYI, if you got kids in the room, we dropped the bombs in this one. Okay. Let's just say that.
You know what? Yeah, we're going to drop some bomb one. So we'll kind of start off with where a lot of the change kind of began. So I grew up, when I was growing up, I think my parents separated at about 6. My dad left their family. My mom quickly got remarried, within a year. And we then got thrown into this fundamentalist, I don't want to say cult, we'll say fundamentalist, strict religious community.
Okay. And
we moved schools 4 times. In the matter of 2 years, and I just didn't fit in. I didn't fit in at all. I feel like when it's painful when you look back at those ages and you realize oh shit, that was the time that I really started feeling alone or isolated, or feeling like you didn't fit in. And then I got to this point where I'm at school, I'm not fitting in at home, I'm not fitting in at school, I don't do really any extracurricular activities, I'm definitely not fitting in at church. Mm-hmm. And, when in my early preteens, teens, I experienced my first encounter with sexual abuse. And then a few years later, in that time frame, I would have witnessed my sister being badly physically abused as well. And so it was just, I felt like every night was midnight. When you look back on times in your life and it kind of has, it could have been sunny that day, but you really do picture it just being rainy and gloomy. And I felt like a lot of my life was like that. And, I was really blessed because I ended up going into high school. I got to go to a normal high school and made girlfriends. And that was my outlet, was being at school. Mm-hmm. It was a safe place. It was where I could be funny. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting the funniest girl in school, that type of thing, where when I got home, I was living this really sad life. And I started turning to food at that point and just kind of binge eating every time I was getting sad. And I ended up coming out when I was 17, and I ended up getting pretty ruffled up. So here I am at the police station for this first time in my life. I have fucking nowhere to go. I have nowhere to fucking go. And so it's funny because you see my office now, I'm like, I was actually a high school dropout.
Yeah. With all this, with everything you've done, it's like you never know the stories, right?
Yeah, it is never too late.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that time, this is at the time where, you know, it wasn't very cool to be gay or openly gay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one thing, you know who your friends are.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people can say the same, women watching, like when you go through divorce,
mm-hmm.
breakup or any of that shit, you find out who your friends are pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right?
Even starting a business, you find out who your friends are sometimes, right?
Starting a business, yeah. And it's funny how that really just happens once in life. It's like, yeah, you know what? Life just sprinkles that in here.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a gift, right?
Yeah.
Finding who your friends are along the journey. So here I am. I've dropped out of high school. I've now had to lie about my age and education, and I end up getting work in this factory. So I'm working midnights in this factory, and I'm filled with anger in my life. That's what ran my life. I was such an angry person. And actually, when you look back, you're doing that freaking 10-year challenge, whatever you're looking back, I never smiled in pictures. I was always depressed. My posture was always hunched over like this. I was always sad. And my frame of thought was, I'm going to be so fucking powerful. I'm going to be so powerful when I see these people, and they're going to regret ever making me feel that way. And so for some reason I thought, you know, my outlet would be going into business. I don't know why. It's like you see movies and like, you know, the rich person is this business person. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to see myself, and that's that future manifestation, right?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing myself in this, like, you know, women's suit with a briefcase and being really stern, but I'm going to have all this money. And that was my goal. And I worked midnights for several years. I went to school as a mature student during the day and worked midnights at night in this freaking farm town, Chatham, Ontario. And all I could dream was going to a bigger city. So I get to this bigger city. And again, like my goals were just like making money being this business person. So I ended up taking on these big roles, general manager of this bar restaurant at like 21, really young ages. And again, I think I looked so weathered because I was so like life throwing so much shit at me, and I was just so angry that I looked like. Well,
your energy, it shows on the outside, right? Yeah, like what you're vibrating at, it like, yeah.
Like that chick has been through some shit. There's no way she's going on, right? So I ended up meeting this guy, Joel McLean. I got dressed up in a business suit, and I went out in the front of Infotech. Infotech is the third largest research and advisory firm in the world. And I stood out on the front lawn, a business suit on. I had no fucking, like at this point I had like a human business degree, and I had no really too much experience, but I just showed up outside wearing this outfit with my resume. And I end up asking this guy on the front lawn if he liked working there. And we start shooting the shit, and I was like, you know what? Thanks, I really appreciate that. I was really nervous coming in. He ends up telling me, I'm gonna walk you in. Guess what? That is Joel McLean, the CEO of the company. So that was how I got into business. You never know. And that's the thing. You never know. Kindness will take you very fucking far in life.
Kindness, and I'm going to add to that, and boldness and bravery. Like that was big for you to go there and like put your power suit on and show up on that front lawn to say like, I'm here to get a job, and ask that guy the questions and do that. Like there is something to that piece as well. You took action in trying to get what it was that you wanted. So
I get in the door there. That just sped up everything. Now I'm working with these, again, it's my first start working with these Fortune 500 companies. I'm making good money. I'm pushing all those numbers. Then all of a sudden I get headhunted by Yellow Media, which is the largest media firm in North America, right? And they were able to sell Google. So the Google advertisements business. So I'm this young girl. I'm managing certain territories. I'm working in Toronto, going all over. I'm starting to make crazy money, way more money than any of my friends at this age. And I'm getting more and more weathered. I'm getting more and more depressed. And I'm hanging out with more and more of the wrong people, right? So my body is literally going out of alignment. The people that I'm hanging out with are going out of alignment. And with each new role, I actually start reaching to new things. So here I am starting off reaching to food. Then I start reaching off to drinking. right? You're just so stressed. It's Q4, all that, you know, you're going through those motions, and you start turning to drinking. And then with every new thing that's popping up, oh, I've got anxiety. Now I've got depression. Oh, hey, I also have sexual dysfunction, but I'm not calling it that. I just think I'm fucking asexual most of the time. Or when I do have intercourse, it's painful, or I'm not orgasming. And I feel like I'm the only person in the world that is going through this. So with that, it's like more and more. And then you start dabbling in drugs, and you're just trying to find all these uppers and downers to try to fucking manage your life. It's exhausting.
Yeah, to find the alignment, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure even a lot of you, no matter what you've been through, it's like being in that corporate world, dude, that's not surprising if you get adrenal fatigue. It's so up and down. Like, it's wild when you're working for somebody else's business.
Yeah.
So as I keep going, I'm burning out. I'm at this point in my life where I'm in a really unfulfilling, very shallow relationship. And I get headhunted by American Express, and now I'm doing business to business supplier negotiations, $1 million and above. My target is $17 million of new income. I've got 2 phones on me all the time. And I feel like I'm having a breakdown every single day. That year of my life was the highest income I ever had. And that year, I felt suicidal. That was the saddest year of my life. And if you were to look back on my posture, I looked like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? I was truly physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything out of alignment. And it wasn't until I really started crashing down, and, you know, my sister was noticing it. My colleagues were worried about me. I was getting this really bad social anxiety. I'm not leaving the house. And my colleague of mine, actually, it was by her sharing with me. This woman was like badass. You know, she had major presence, and she had won so many President's Gold Circles that she looked like a mobster with these gold rings on her hand. And I adored her. I wanted to be her.
Yes, she was that image that you had in your mind.
That image, but she was so much different. You know, she had light beaming out of her. She was a kind person, and she was so funny, and she was so easy to connect with. And I was so scared of showing her my shadow self. I was so scared that she wouldn't respect me or like me. And it wasn't until one day she asked why I wasn't going home for Christmas. And I just started quivering, and she cut me off. She started sharing this story about her being assaulted. She was 14 and growing up in like the freaking hood, and what that was like. And then she started sharing with me about asking for help. I think too, like, if you're starting a business, or it's actually just in life, one of the best things you can do is ask for help. Instead of reaching out for a bottle, instead of reaching out for that fucking McDonald's or that joint, ask for help.
And I think that's one of the hardest things that people have, they struggle with the most, is asking for help, because they don't want to be a burden. They don't want to like seem like they're, you know, taking people's time, and they just want to like, oh, I can just do it myself. Cause I know I'm like, that's somebody I'm like, I just want to do it all myself. I'll figure it out. And you can't always figure everything out.
We can't. And you know what reality is? We're all fucked sometimes. I don't care who the hell you pretend to be online. We're fucked.
Like, let's just be real. Like,
can you manage? And that's like a good thing to aspire to, because you can't delete the feeling fucked button. You can't delete depression. You can't delete feeling less than, even sometimes. But you can manage how long that affects you for. So it's like, are you feeling that struggle for 11 months of the year? I think your goal should be to slowly take it back. Can I learn new tools and techniques that I can cut this back to 10 months, to 6 months, to a couple weeks, right? Because you have to process that stuff.
No, it's true. And I just talked about this on a podcast like 2 episodes ago, or this year, on awareness, like just being aware that you're even in that space, because we always have a choice. Like, we always have a choice we can change at any time. I mean, some things you have to work through and whatever, but when you are aware, because sometimes you will go on autopilot, right? They're reaching for the McDonald's and the food and the depression, all the things, and they're having all those things, but they're not aware of it. They're just on autopilot. And so it's creating awareness around how am I feeling right now? Like, is this good? Is this bad? Should I, like, what do I do? Like, I need to make a change. You know, it's creating that awareness around it.
Oh yeah.
So she helped you do that.
She really did. And it was like, and you know what? It's still a struggle. Like, you have those people. She really inspired me, and she made it very cool to work on yourself.
Yeah.
She's so cool. You know, like, and then from that point on, I found that she was sharing more. You know, you call her, ask her a work question, and she's like, oh, you know what? I'm just on the way to my women's group. We're talking about a therapy thing. Oh, I'm struggling with my divorce right now, so I'm going to talk to this, or I'm trying this, you know, energy healing or stuff like that. And it really actually, I was thinking, like, me too, I'm going to try that, you know? And then you just get inspired, and you start trying these new things. But also when you try new things that are good for you, it's a good, again, that's another way of weeding out the people in your life that you don't really need, because you start, you know, those people are making fun of you, whatever, they don't want to work on themselves. That's cool. You can stay still. But then you start meeting friends in those circles that are like, that's cool. Yeah, this really helped me. And you know, you're becoming more and more vulnerable with people, right?
Migrate to what you're sort of vibrating at, or what you're doing, right?
You know, it's like sitting with that. You may feel lonely for a second, but then that void will get filled soon with something more fulfilling.
Right people, yeah.
Oh yeah. So here I am. I'm making all this crazy money, the craziest money in my life. My sister calls me and she says, I met this guy that does rolfing. It's supposed to help with anxiety and depression, and it can fix your bad posture. So I look it up, and across the board, these people are talking about, like, I look on a chat forum to see what people really say, and they're like, changed my life, whether in chronic pain or depression or anything, sports, this changed my life. It was the only thing that helped. So I went in there, I go through the 10 series, and even halfway through, people are starting to ask me if I got a boob job. They're asking if I got a butt job. Because I was sitting straight. And I want everyone that's watching this or listening right now, how are you sitting?
Yeah.
Where are your sit bones? Are they tucked under?
Yeah.
Right? That's exhausting. That's the weight of the world. That is exhausting, sitting like that. That actually uses way more of our energy to sit like that than it does to actually just sit up in alignment, right? And you have that flow going through you. So I just started with that. It really enabled me to make a lot of changes in my life. And I was still kind of struggling with depression because I was doing something I fucking hated.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wasn't helping anyone. You tell yourself that bullshit story that you're helping people. You know, I was not. I was working in customer service areas for years, and I don't think I helped one person. That's shocking.
Well, it is. And you bring up a really good point, that the fact that sometimes the money is like, if you're not in alignment and you're making a lot of money, like it's not doing you any favors, right? Like,
yeah, my alignment, like, I'm making all this crazy money, but also I'm hanging out with shallow people. When I get that paycheck coming in, you better believe I had no fucking real friend. Well, actually, I take it back. I did have some real friendships, but I was inviting in the wrong types of friendships. I was trying to fit in and force open doors that weren't the door for me. And I'm going to the mall and I'm blowing all my money on a purse to fit in. And that's pretty sad. That actually should have been my rock bottom in life.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
Don't get me started on that whole, subject.
What is that, right? I'm working on my shell. I'm working on my outside shell, right? Instead of, because it's too terrifying to look inside.
Yeah.
Right? And that should be the first place that you look, should be in there. And even having that awareness of, like, how does this make my body feel? Where is this living? Yeah. So long story short, I ended up just having one of those come to Jesus moments. And I thought, I'm sick of this fake life. I'm sick of this. Like, I'm in emotional pain here. Yeah. I sold all of my stuff because someone said, you know, well, what would you want to do? You have the life. You're making crazy money at this age. You got benefits. People always want to scare you.
I know.
Benefits. It's like, and yoga, it's like, I'm pretty good, you know?
That was the first thing when I left my corporate job, and I told a few people, they're like, well, but what about your benefits? I'm like, what about them? I'll just pay for my prescription. Like, okay, it's not like I'm not going to have healthcare anymore.
Yeah, so true. You don't need excuses to get out of work. You're like, it's so true.
I won't need benefits because I'll be happy and in alignment and I'll be feeling good, right? I'm not going to need them.
People want to do these fear factor things to you. You know what? In life, you can live out of love or you can live out of fear. Mm-hmm. And at that moment where I still kind of had those suicidal ideations, I remember being in my room and this is actually pretty sad, but I got stood up on my birthday by my partner. And I still like get emotional just thinking about it. But I remember being in my room, and my room was painted gray.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, this is my fucking life. Like, everything's gray.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so sad because you start thinking, like, if I died, like, this person wouldn't even care. And like, they're my world, you know. It's like, I'm living for someone else. Even though I made these positive changes, you're still looking for validation through someone else, right? And I'm thinking these wild thoughts about taking all these pills and like whatever. And I get this call from Cindy Young, that same colleague, that said, hey, I just wanted to tell you, I was thinking about you. I'm kind of worried about you. And I just wanted to let you know that I love you. And I will never forget getting that call. I quit my job that day. I quit my job. I had been doing all these freaking anatomy courses, everything. I just thought, you know what? I'm going to be so poor. But if I'm going to live, if I'm going to stay alive, I'm taking one fucking shot. And I'm just going to try it. And I fucking flop, then I can decide then if I'm going to off myself. But I'm going to give it one fucking try.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I'm passionate about, and it helps people. That actually helps people. And I want to do something that I feel like needs more awareness around it.
And that was the role thing, right?
That was the role thing. So I went to school for that. I sold everything. And people told me it was the biggest mistake. Those people, pay attention. If you're thinking about starting a business and you have people, and it's something that resonates with you, you're passionate about, that helped you, that makes you feel good. Think of how that makes you feel, not about how it makes you look.
Or how much money you're going to make.
Or how much money. Because you know what? It's like, that's a shell. Don't think about the shell. It's like, that's a fake life. If you were on an island and there's no fucking cameras around or anything like that, would you still love that product?
Yeah.
Would you still think, this benefits me? This would really help me being stranded on this island, right?
Yeah, that Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah, I'll have this fancy hat. Like, well, actually a hat would help. But have fancy shoes, you know, like, that's not going to help you that much on an island.
Yeah.
But it's like setting that stuff aside. People are going to do that fear factor with you, that it's like, well, you're making you, I don't know, okay.
And they think they're helping you and protecting you by like, don't, like, that's scary.
They're trying to help themselves. They want to validate their decision for never fucking breaking loose and trying anything out of their fucking comfort zone in life. Someone told them that they were not good enough. That's their problem. It's like, it's not your briefcase to hold.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, cool. Thank you for your time, but I'm going to keep going with this. Keep going. Because I'll tell you one thing. When I run into people, those same people that were friends, or those same people that made fun of me for going and doing that, when I landed my first NFL client, those were the people that were going, oh, maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
They were making fun of, right? It's like, oh, maybe I'll try that. And I go, you know what? It's not for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, right? I'm totally booked. Sorry, I have no time.
Yeah, but it's like, people are going to try and scare you. And also, like, those are the same people that it's like, what is that, like Freaky Friday or Groundhog Day, where it's like, they moved it all night. Yeah. Right? It's like, are you just going home every night watching the same show, complaining about the same thing, complaining about being at work? It's like, you've got to put that time in. And yeah, I did struggle. It's like, I gave up everything to start this, but I am so happy now. I am so happy. I'm so grateful every day for those days, for those weeks that I slept in a car outside of my office. I'm so grateful for those days. For those days where I didn't know if I would have enough food. I am so grateful for those days, right? Those made me to where I am. I wouldn't give that time up. That sometimes you need those humbling experiences. You really do. And it really, like, you've got to be willing to have those humbling experiences where maybe it flops. Yeah.
That's where the growth is. And it's in the moments of struggle that we grow, and we're put on this earth to continually grow and change and evolve. And so it's like, you know, I look back to, you know, the one thing I was going to say, like the woman, when she called you that night, like, that was like a divine intervention, in my opinion, of the universe, God, whatever religion, whatever, saying that you're not done yet. We have a purpose for you. and it's time to find it. Like, so you have to listen to those nudges, those things, because it's like that now you're on your path to your purpose where you weren't before. And it's like the universe works like this, right? Like if you're not following your path to your purpose, you know, it'll throw a stone at you. You know, it's like a little feather or like a little something light. Like you get hit with something that's like, oh, you know, I don't really love this job, but I'll take it anyways. You just don't feel right. And then they throw like the boulder, and then it's like something bigger where it's like, oh, this is really not that great, but I keep going down the wrong path anyways. And then you get the Mack truck, right? And the Mack truck is like, you know, this is like, if you don't listen to this now, like this is, we you know, like you're in that rock bottom moment, and you don't wait for the Mack truck. Like listen to the pebble, or listen to, maybe even if you don't hear the pebble, the next, but don't wait for the Mack truck. Like find your purpose, listen to the things, like, you know, don't wait.
Ask it, you know what, ask yourself, what is this telling me?
Yeah.
You know, that's the same thing too. It's like, you can't, if you are actually just in life, like if you have those moments where like everything just is fucking wrong, like everything is being forced out, nothing's working for me. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment? Actually ask yourself, where's your posture? Where am I? In these situations, is my stomach quivering? Am I protecting my stomach, my most vulnerable part of me, my most vulnerable organ that's left open? Am I hunching up down? Is my jaw quivering? Am I looking down to the ground? Right? It's all about like standing up and being in that alignment and that flow, getting that flow of energy coming through you. If you feel even like business partners, friendships, love interests, nothing should be forced.
Yeah.
If you're trying to force your way into a cool circle, or you're trying to force your way into a business opportunity, and it feels like you kind of grab that handle and it opens a bit and then it jams shuts on you, it's humiliating. It's kind of painful. And you're just like, why keep trying to open that door?
Yeah.
You know, maybe you don't even need to open that door. If you look behind you, there's just this whole crew of people that want to show up for you. Right? And I find like in business, the more that you act in alignment with yourself and with God or with your spirit, whatever you want to call that, things will flow for you. And just asking for help that way. Does this feel good to me? You know, this person that I'm hanging out with, does it feel good to me? Like out of 10 times you see somebody, out of 10 times you've tried calling someone for a business deal, how did it feel to you? Yeah. Pay attention to that, because if you're feeling like they're not really receptive and they keep blowing me off, you'll feel it in your gut. Yeah. Listen to that.
Your intuition. And I think that though, to clarify though, you know, starting a business or, you know, entering into something new, it isn't always going to feel easy. Like there are struggles that are there, but like I have struggles every day in my business. I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm still trying to grow. I'm still trying to break through, do all these things. But even though there's struggles, they don't feel bad to me. I don't feel like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't do this. I want to continue to keep trying and doing this because it feels right to me, even though it's a struggle. So don't mix the two up, right? Like,
and what is pain versus like being uncomfortable?
Yeah, difference.
It's so fucking uncomfortable starting your own business. Making your own Instagram page. Putting up a picture of yourself.
Nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking, right? And I always like to think of it just like when people come in and they're hunched over and they're stuck like this and they're in all this emotional, physical pain. It's very similar when you're starting off a business. Actually, you'll go through ebbs and flows of it in business.
Yeah.
I'm sure you found this, where there's times where you have to, it's a new chapter and you've got to make yourself bigger.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you got to rise up to it.
Old armor on. And that armor doesn't fit you anymore. And it's like that molting process for shellfish, where it's like, you know, you're swimming along and all of a sudden your shell, it's too tight on you and it starts getting way too uncomfortable. And it's affecting your love life with your shellfish partner. You can't keep up, right? It's actually all these like negative kind of characteristics are dragging you back, right? And you can't go with the flow. Yeah. You really do. You have to find that safe spot or that cave where you can take that off, that old shell that's not working for you. Say, thank you. Thank you for that time that you have helped me, whatever the defense mechanisms are, whatever. Thank you. Open up, you're vulnerable, and you create a new shell in that cave. Yeah. And what I think is really beautiful about some of the programs that you do is you're creating a cave for people.
Yes.
You are creating a safe
Holding,
spot.
holding their hand through the process.
And going, hey, girlfriend, time to grow. This is a natural part. It's a molting process.
Yeah.
That shell off. And guess what? You're about to fucking grow.
Yeah. You're going to do this. It's happening.
Yeah. And then you send them off.
And the cool thing is that it's fulfilling for someone like me as a coach or a mentor to watch them go through that process, to help them through that process. Right. So, and this is totally leading us into your next thing, because you've done the osteopath, you're doing the rolfing, you've started that business, you're working with these top athletes, like life is good, you're starting to feel in alignment. And I truly, like, knowing you and the story, and you and I have worked together and kind of help each other, that I don't even think that the rolfing is actually your passion. Like that, I shouldn't say it's your passion, your purpose. I think your purpose is starting to evolve into, I think, where you're entering into now, which is your new business.
That's a really great point with the purpose even versus passion, because and that's the thing with business too, is, well, I fucking love my clinic. I love it.
You're amazing at it.
That feeds me. That makes me, I'm my best self there.
Yeah.
But you're right. In some ways, I started incorporating new things in my business, like the V-Sculpt. It was like for urinary incontinence or painful intercourse. You're trying to bring in these different things that help people, but you're dancing. Sometimes we dance around what we're actually, our purpose is, because it's too scary to ask your purpose to dance.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, it's scary to ask. Like, imagine seeing someone across the room, like you just see like the most beautiful woman, or you see like the most handsome man, and it's like one of those scenes where you could just like go through time and you would just like love to dance with them, love to slow dance with them. And that should be how you feel about your purpose.
Yes.
Instead, it's like, oh no, I'm not good enough for them, whatever, I'm gonna ask this shitty dancer over here to dance with them. Maybe I'll dance close to my purpose, but I'm not great enough yet. It's like, no, you're gonna stumble, you're gonna hate that fucking dance.
You're gonna sweat, you're gonna be nervous, there's gonna be all those things, right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, your purpose, I think, will show up and will find you. You'll actually be able to hear what your purpose is.
I think it's that Mack truck moment. It's again that Mack truck moment.
The alignment.
As you're saying, like, oh, everything's good, all this shit's good. It's like, that is the crap that we see on social media. And that is another armor. That's another layer of armor of this shell of ourselves sometimes, where it's like, okay, yeah, what's wrong? When I'm at work, everything is great. When I get home, I feel crippled with depression. I ended up running into, like a year ago, I ended up having a moment with that person who assaulted me. And it was so triggering that I didn't realize that you're triggered. And that happens a lot with women in life, is that we actually don't realize that we're triggered. And I had this day, like, I started drinking a little more. I started binge eating McDonald's, and here I'm running this health clinic. I'm binge eating McDonald's. I'm like trying, like reaching out to the looking for love, when it's like that. I really just need to look for love in myself, and I'm struggling so much. And I got to that moment again. Sadly, after all this growth, after all this time, I get to another moment where I'm having these crazy thoughts, and I start to write this letter. And it goes, this is your fault, and this is why. And as these tears are streaming down my face, I stopped myself, and I had to ask, have I been taking my omega-3s? I start going through my mental health checklist. Have I been taking my omega-3s? No, I haven't. Have I been taking vitamin D? No, I have not. Have I been doing exercise? No, I haven't. Have I been doing my gratitude journal? No, I have not. Have I been reaching out to friends? No, I have not. Have I been meditating? No, I have not. And it's taking that responsibility and doing things that are good for you, right? And then a week later, you promised yourself, it's like, okay, I'm going to give myself a week. Just like monitoring this. This is a little wacko, and just going through with that. Instead of finishing writing that letter, I started writing out the main therapies that helped me. I had all this money saved. I know this sounds super shallow. I had all this money saved to get cosmetic surgery because I was so out of my mind that I was like, I need to change myself. And I'm in my shell again. So I'm like, I need to change myself. That's what's going to make me happy. I reached out to a PhD researcher. I said, I will pay you to help me work on this project. I want to find all the most relevant and prevalent main issues that a woman who has been sexually abused, assaulted, whether in childhood or adulthood, what they would struggle with. I want to find through research, credible research, what would be the best approaches to helping manage this or get rid of it. And I'm going to put this project out. All my savings are going into this, and I'm going to put this out. And if after this project I want to off myself, then I'll do it. But I'm taking one fucking shot, and we're just doing it. And so here I am today. You know, it's like, it's such a magical process. And in that time, again, doing a business like this, but something that had so much purpose. I start calling these doctors, and I start calling these therapists, people I know, whatever. I give them my elevator pitch, and I'm waiting for the rejection. And all you hear every single call, that's awesome. I would love to be a part of that. Right? And it's like all of a sudden that flow, that alignment. It's like, I've been thinking this was needed for so long, but I was too scared to say my story. That was like really a big part of it, as I was way too scared, because here I am working with all these handsome men and in this field. And I just thought like, well, these people respect me because I work on these men, whatever. And if I tell them my story that's really on this side, no one's going to like me. And you go through that, and then you just have to start thinking like, why the fuck would you want those people in your life? Yeah. Why would you? And then all of a sudden, all this alignment, these big breakthroughs start coming through. I reach out to you. Hey, do you want to hang out? You know, I started thinking like, I stopped drinking. I stopped doing marijuana. I stopped binge eating for the most part, and like going crazy on sweets. And then it's funny when you start doing things that are really good for yourself, that love you, and out of self-respect for yourself, and create those boundaries. Yeah, you have people fall out of your life. You know, that's just a natural part of life. But then you have people that come in, and it's like all of a sudden I'm meeting with you, someone that I like super admired, and I'm like, oh, if she ever knew the real me, she wouldn't like me.
Oh, come on.
And we're sitting there laughing our heads off like hyenas, like, you know, like, you know, it's like,
yeah, I remember that.
And then all of a sudden I have this work partner, and this person inspires me. And then you start meeting these new people that are just like, you know what? That's fucking awesome. And I've had so much help on this project. It's unreal.
And because the universe conspires for those who know where they're going. You made the decision that I'm taking this money and I'm going to put it into this project. This is what I'm doing. And I believe that that idea came to you because you were in that moment again, where it's like, yeah, you know, and it's like, but also you came into alignment with yourself when you started your osteopath business. That became more in alignment with you. And in that, it opened up, you know, more opportunity for these downloads or these ideas and these thoughts and these things to come in, which are in alignment with your purpose. And so making that decision and saying, I'm doing this, that's why things started happening for you, because you had decided, and this is what you were doing. Like, we didn't meet by accident. That day we sat down in the coffee shop and you were sharing your idea. It's like, yeah, you can do this. Like that was a piece of the puzzle for you to have that like, the affirmation or that confirmation that yes, like this has to happen. You need to do this. Right.
Oh, yeah. And I think too, when you're doing something, it's all about the one universal language in the world is it should be feelings, right? It's feelings. That's the main language that everyone knows. It's feelings, happy, sad, joyful, loved, right? How are you making how do you feel with your project? Should be the first, your business, whatever. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel joy? Does it make you respect yourself? How does that make someone else feel? And really think about that when you're posting your pictures and all that type of stuff. If you want to show off and be like, here's me with 3 Range Rovers and a bunch of dogs and
my private jet, which probably isn't yours.
You know, that type of thing. How does that make somebody feel? How do you think that would make, how would that make you feel?
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
you're not enough.
Like, I'm not included in this chat.
Yeah, I don't belong here.
Do that, but it's like, resonate with people. It's like, be open, be yourself. Vulnerability,
authentic,
intimacy, right? Into me, see. Be vulnerable, show yourself, take off that fake mask. Sometimes that mask is good, but a lot of times we actually get more growth taking the mask down and showing who we really are inside, and people will resonate with you, and that is how you find your fucking tribe.
It is so true. I know, even in just doing this podcast, like, it's scary to do these little episodes where I'm just sharing my feelings on something. They're my feelings. I don't know, right, wrong, and different. But I find that the ones where I'm on doing like an authentic chat about something that I feel passionate about and that I feel is, right, those are the episodes I get the most feedback on, going, this was so good, or this helped me, or this was that. And I think that if more people could just be authentic and live, like you say, without the mask on, like, so many doors and things would open up for you if you could just like literally like live the way that you feel is right for you, and just show up, and be you.
You're not alone. There's something so powerful in knowing that you're not alone. So in this program, it was crazy. So
so first of all, it's called, what is it called?
It's called HealingHER. Sorry, we've just been like going on. This is us when we do our work. We're just going on fucking rants like forever.
We circle back to 100 million things. Yeah.
But HealingHER, that is my passion project. You can find it healingher.co. The modules, it's 8 learning modules. It's like an 8-week program. You can find that at healingher.co. You can find us on Instagram at healingherco.
And I'll put all the links in the
find the Facebook group, HealingHERco as well. And that's really where we tackle all the subjects. I just want to run off, just because most women, if you have 1,000 people listening to this podcast, know that at least 300 of them have gone through some sort of sexual assault or abuse. 300.
That's crazy.
Out of those 1,000 people, know that the 300, those were reported.
Yeah.
Out of those 300, let's say it's just 300. Out of those 300 people, at least 150 of them have sexual dysfunction. So that is low sex drive, like no sexual arousal, no sexual desire, painful intercourse, not being able to orgasm. That's a major fucking setback in life. So if you feel like you're struggling in business and you have these kind of setbacks, know that you are not alone, right? You need to really love yourself as a whole for that. Women who have experienced sexual assault have a greater chance of poor sleep, about 4 times the rate of women who have not been sexually assaulted, and are more likely to have symptoms of anxiety and depression. 33% of women who have been raped contemplate suicide. You are not alone. Right? Like, and with this, we have so many feelings of isolation and feeling like you're not alone. And this whole program is about opening up that conversation. The Me Too movement was incredible in a lot of ways. Me too, but guess what? Hashtag now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
Fix it. Yeah, you gotta do stuff. Right? You gotta help. Yeah, there's gotta be something.
If you're bouncing from anxiety, depression all the time, if you feel like you are having major issues at work, in your love life, in your friend circle, know that you're not alone. 38% of you, 380 of you will have those issues. Right? There is help. There are ways of helping this. And that's the thing, is there's no place that ties this all together. And we deal with all the issues. Guess what? You have a way higher chance of having an eating disorder. Guess what? You're 6 times more likely to try cocaine. You're over 200 more times more likely to use marijuana or alcohol.
And that you feel, a lot of times they feel like, oh, it's just me. I'm the only one,
Just you, And
so HealingHER, you've got the Facebook group, so that's a support community to help people who
and people just struggling with shit. It's actually really cool. We had examples, like it could be a mom that's like, hey, when's the right time to share this with your child? Do you? I feel shame around this. Like, we talk about things: shame, guilt, sexual function? What are ways of being able to get to that point of pleasure, moving past things, moving through actually things. The subject experts on HealingHER are so fucking bang on, you know, like they're just awesome. There are people that you would wish if something happened to someone you love that they went to. And we wanted this whole program to be a love letter to your former self, right?
I love that.
Past self, whenever that happened, right? And it's really about, you know, right now, it's fair to say that we're all resilient. Like if you've been through that and you're alive, give yourself a fucking gold star because you are resilient, my friend. But there comes to a point where you feel like you may just be surviving all the time, which is great to be a survivor, but you may want to get kicking into that next gear of thriving and feeling good.
And going back to where we started, asking for help. Like you're at the point where you've done everything you can on your own. Now it's time to get support and get help.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And I hate to say, like, I hate using the things like, oh, well, this happened to you for a reason. But like, to me, it's like, you have gone through this. So one, you can relate to these women. Two, you've learned so much through this process. You've connected with the right people. And like, you can see it's like part of your purpose is it's almost like those experiences happen so that you could go out and help the masses. And so often we think our experiences are, you know, why me? And we become a victim. But how can you take those experiences and turn around and then serve people with what you've been through, what you've learned, what you've grown through in order to help them do the same? And that's exactly what you've done with this project. And I think it's so incredible because I know how scary it can be to go, I have to now share this, you know, like I have to share this story with people and bring it back to life. But in doing that, you're also helping people, you know?
Well, and you know what, even the people joining this, like doing the HealingHER modules, whatever, they don't have to share because it's nothing for them is it about really it shouldn't be about reliving, but it's about addressing the symptoms that are affecting your life and holding you back today, right? Residue has trauma, trauma has residue, right? And so we need to learn how to deal with that residue because unfortunately, again, there's no delete button for it. But with this program, I just thought, I've got to share my story because people looking at me on social media, they see this tall blonde girl with these athletes and I'm traveling around and it looks like I have this great life. When in reality, it's like I struggled for such a long, long time. And I definitely didn't put up posts about feeling suicidal. I definitely didn't put up posts about not being able to orgasm or feeling broken that way. Right. And those are things that need to be shared because you know what, when you look at these rates, that's a fucking epidemic.
Yeah.
Right. So if you yourself are going through this or feel like you're struggling with all of those issues, please know that you're not alone. Right. It's just knowing about which help to go towards. Right. So there's certain even therapies that could trigger a woman that have gone through PTSD versus the somatic therapies that would work on a different part of the brain that could help that. So it's just about educating yourself. And again, having that awareness around what tools are available and which ones you want to try out, which ones will resonate with you. If you know of someone that has been through this, please send them to the Facebook. It's free content. They can chime in. It's great knowing that you have that community and that support group. Or just follow us, find us anywhere. We'd love to have you be part of our crew.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put all the links to all of your things in the show notes. So if you go to ShaynaRecker.com, podcast show notes, all the ways that you can connect with HealingHER and Co. are going to be there. So you can reach out and add yourself to the groups, follow the Instagrams, find the course, all those things so that you can get the help that you need. So it's just been so amazing talking to you. I know we could literally, it's been an hour almost, and we could literally just keep going and be like 3 o'clock and be like, we should probably stop this. People have probably lost interest, but no, they haven't. This is so much good stuff. And I'm so excited for you. To see that you're building this and that you're living out this dream that you want to help these people. It's so amazing.
Well, thank you for having me on. Thank you so much for very much being an honorary member of the HealingHER team. Thank you for putting yourself out there, and thank you for all the people that you've helped by showing up and being vulnerable.
Right? That's just what it is. It's just doing the do and showing up every day and being consistent and knowing that you want to do something that's going to help other people. And we do it in different ways, but at the end of the day, it's helping people grow and helping people get out of their comfort zone and helping them get better, you know? And that's what it's all about. I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up here today?
Thank you guys so much for listening to all my rants.
No, it's good. I think that it's,
I love it.
so many people can relate to this kind of stuff, and everybody's story is different. But I think at the end of the day, like, we all have struggles, like we all have shit that we're dealing with, you know, and they may look different on the surface, but like you said, coming back to the feelings, you know, what you've gone through and what I've gone through may be different, but the feelings around it can be the same, you know? Yeah. And so it's just knowing that you're not alone, you know, making sure you're asking for help and having awareness around the feelings that are going on and what doesn't feel right, and using your intuition and your gut as a way to help guide you. You know, they say, what is it? Your gut is your second brain. Like, there's, you know, you got to listen to, if you've got anxiety and, you know, bad, you know, like the bowel stuff's going on every day, and like you're just always feeling like, you know, that's telling you something.
These women too that have been through this, our nervous system is actually hijacked. So most of us will be operating in hyperarousal. And that's really where, guess what? Our arms and our legs are getting that blood flow, because if we need to run away from attack, that's where that energy is going to, right? So it's not going into our rest and digest. And that's one of those things too. It's like, if I could leave one tidbit that could help you today, it's learn how to breathe.
Yes.
It is learn how to breathe. Calm your nervous system down. Do the box breathing, 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out. Do that for 5 minutes. That is one of the best ways to get yourself out of that negative loop. And also be gentle on yourself. It's your fucking long life. Be gentle on yourself, right? It's like, that's how you're going to let go. That's how you're going to get strong. Is like, the more and more gentle you are with yourself, the stronger you get.
I love that. And that goes for anybody, you know,
anyone,
any kind of stress that you have. Like, as you were saying the box breathing, I was like kind of doing it going, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better right now as I'm doing this. I love it. I love it. Well, awesome. So Dani, thank you so much for this time, for sharing your story, for creating all of these great spaces for people. You're going to just totally help so many women. And I think it's just amazing. And love you, girl.
I love you too. Rock on, sister.
Okay, I love you. And we will post all of that stuff in our show notes. So thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. And we'll talk to you guys soon.